animals within the same species constantly fighting in the fossil record. And again, ranging in sizes from a house cat early on in their history all the way up to a bison. A huge range of sizes. And these animals, they often had very long, thin legs, which kind of seem a bit dainty compared to the rest of the animal, which had these very large, bulky bodies, big heads, and jaws, those cheekbones that this boar does not have. They had cheekbones that actually projected out to the sides quite a bit, which may have also acted somewhat as a shield for their face, to avoid getting bites to the body. They could also open their jaws ridiculously wide, much like their modern-day relatives, hippos, and probably did fight a lot like hippos, where they would open their mouths really wide and just jab and run into each other and try to get sort of non-lethal, hopefully, bites in on each other. And then just, again, tons of animals from the time. Culicotheres, which are a relative of the horse. Indracotheres, relatives of the rhinos. Hyenodonts, which are not related to any modern-day animals. Tons of these animals have been found with injuries or evidence of being preyed on and gnawed on by entelodons. Some bones are found where definitely they were fractured by an entelodon bite. These animals ate everything. They were belligerently aggressive, even to each other, probably especially to each other. And they got pretty dang big. They're an animal that they got kind of popular maybe about like 10 years ago. The public, like the bulk of like Entelodon stuff got more well known. They're still not super well known, but when people started learning about these, everyone always, the first thought when they see an Entelodon is just, that is one of the most unreasonably nasty looking animals I have ever seen. They are remarkably just well adapted. They're also great generalists. Having that large, diverse range of teeth in their jaws. By the way, this person is supposed to be about 6 feet tall. And they are standing, I put them at the butt end just because I figured I wouldn't want to stand right there. But Entelodon were great generalists. They could eat pretty much anything in their environment, and much like modern-day pigs and bears, being able to eat a lot of different things opens up a lot of options. It means that times get lean, you probably can still find food, whereas a more specialized animal may not always have that ability. And by being omnivores, not strictly carnivores, they were able to last a little bit longer than the hyenodonts, which generally, while they were more carnivorous, they didn't do as well when the ecosystem changed. And these animals, again, very prominent places to find fossils of them are places like Nebraska and Mongolia. Eurasia was basically where they lived exclusively. They didn't make it into Africa, they didn't make it to South America, not to Australia either. And again, generally, pretty nasty animals. It's one of those things where oftentimes paleontologists and people who love prehistoric animals go, oh, I'd really love to see that animal up close. It'd be really cool to go and see them. I have never actually heard anyone say that about Entelodons. Everyone's always like, yeah, their fossils are really cool. That's the most I need to see them. I don't need to get up close. No, it's good. And again, they aren't technically pigs. They are an adjacent group, but they are pretty pig-like in a lot of ways. Again, their dentition with the prominent tusks and the diverse range of teeth, which their dentition is actually pretty similar to a modern-day pig. And then just their niche being generally omnivorous. Again, pretty solidly like a pig or a bear today. Their extinction is actually a bit of a mystery, given that animals like this generally handle ecological change a bit better than more specialized animals. Yet these animals went extinct due to what we think is at the time of an ecological change, so we're not entirely sure what happened in the mid-Miocene to make that situation worse. And it is a bit of a mystery, because they were quite successful for a long time. They were something that must have been really terrifying to other animals that lived alongside them. They clearly were very efficient, and clearly they were a problem. We wouldn't find so many other animal skeletons with evidence of injury from these guys if they weren't pretty aggressive and pretty numerous. And again, due to the fact that at the time they're relatively common fossils, shows they were successful. There's a lot of Entelodon fossils. and they were big enough where they fossilized well. And that's something to say. If an animal fossilizes often, there's got to be a lot of them, because hardly anything actually ever fossilizes. So these things were numerous, diverse, and they lived in habitats ranging from open areas to dense forests, depending on the size of the animals. Very small entelodons, like the cat-sized ones early on, lived in dense forests. Whereas the bigger ones, like Daedon, which is kind of what this one's supposed to be, from Nebraska, lived out in open plains. So they can get big. Finn, you got any questions about these?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, so these are, again, another one of those animals that you don't often hear about. You don't often hear about prehistoric mammals from before the Ice Age, and I'm going to start covering more of those because a lot of them are remarkably weird, and we have nothing like them today. They're very unique. Oftentimes they're adjacent but not directly related to modern groups of animals. We're going to go back to probably doing a few more of the regular, like we've been doing today, just prehistoric animal profiles rather than wildlife management ones. So yeah, hopefully either Monday or next week we will do another one of these. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Please stay warm. Hopefully it starts